Plus 49.
Good evening and welcome to our show Plus 49. Even though we're still in autumn, it feels like winter is fully here. Some Christmas markets are already popping up, and I am sure All I Want for Christmas has been sung once or even twice. For those arriving in Germany or simply looking for an upgrade on a winter coat, check out what our friends from Simple Germany have done regarding this topic. Later in our program, you will get to know them both, since we have spoken with them in our interview section. In today's update, we're taking a look into two major new topics here in Germany: the upcoming cannabis dispensary trials in Frankfurt and Hanover, and the recent passage of Germany's new antisemitism resolution. First up, let's talk cannabis. Starting in early 2025, Frankfurt and Hanover will be launching over-the-counter cannabis sales at designated dispensaries. The pilot will run through 2023 with 4 dispensaries in Frankfurt and 3 in Hanover. This trial isn't just about sales. It's a research initiative led by Frankfurt University of Applied Science and Hanover Medical School in partnership with Berlin's Sanity Group, a medical cannabis company. The aim? To study cannabis use behavior and help reduce unregulated black market sales. For now, only residents of Frankfurt and Hanover can take part. Participants must be 18 or older and in good health. Those who are pregnant, breastfeeding, or facing mental health issues cannot join. Each participant will receive an ID card they will need to present when making purchases, which helps ensure responsible use. If any participant shares their dispensary-bought cannabis, they will be immediately removed from the trial. And to support research efforts, everyone in the program will complete health and usage surveys, giving researchers vital insights into usage patterns. But this is only the start of Germany's evolving cannabis legislation. As of April 2024, adults can grow up to 3 plants at home, and cannabis social clubs were introduced in July. This cannabis social clubs allows members to access cannabis legally. This cautious regional rollout could shape the future of cannabis sales in Germany. Switching gears, let's talk about the Bundestag recent decision on antisemitism. As of November 6, the Bundestag passed a new antisemitism resolution that blocks public funding from any organization deemed anti-Semitic. The law primarily targets groups that question Israel's right to exist, support boycotts, or promote the boycott, divestment, and sanctions movement. The ruling coalition, which includes the SPD, Greens, and FDP, alongside the CDU, introduces the new law amid rising concerns over antisemitism. Under the new policy, any organization supporting BDS or similar movements will lose government funds. Schools and universities can also expel students found engaging in anti-Semitic behavior. Volker Beck, president of the German-Israel Society, praised the resolution as a strong step to protect Jewish life in Germany. However, some critics argue that the resolution could limit free expression and threaten artistic and academic spaces that depend on government funding. In response, a coalition of Jewish and non-Jewish academics has proposed an alternative law that advocates for a broader approach, emphasizing academic freedom and inclusivity. Over 4,400 supporters, including prominent organizations like Oxfam and Amnesty International, have signed a petition backing this alternative. Both of these stories are shaping Germany's social landscape in significant ways, and it will be very interesting to see how they impact communities across the country. Let's talk about something that touches us all this time of the year: the wellness habits of Germans during the cold months. As the days grow darker and temperatures drop, the way we take care of ourselves shifts, especially here in Germany, where winters are long and chilly. Now, Germany has a fascinating approach to wellness in winter. Many of us here embrace something called Gemütlichkeit, a cozy, warm feeling of togetherness. You will find this spirit in full swing during winter. It's about creating comfortable spaces, often with a few candles, a nice hot drink, and maybe some good friends or family around. One winter wellness tradition that stands out is Saunakultur, or sauna culture. It is more than just a quick sweat session, it's a ritual. Germans see sauna visits as an escape, a way to strengthen the immune system, improve circulation, and, let's face it, simply warm up. A weekly trip to the sauna can be a real mental and physical reset during this cold season. Speaking of keeping warm, let's talk about Teezeit, or tea time. Germans aren't big coffee drinkers in the evening. Instead, many turn to herbal teas. Ginger, chamomile, and peppermint are favorites, comforting and perfect for relaxation before bed. It is a little ritual that helps many unwind and stay hydrated when the air is dry from the indoor heating. Another key to winter wellness is staying active, even if it's just a brisk walk. Spazierengehen, or going for a walk, is deeply ingrained in German culture. A morning or afternoon stroll, even when it's freezing outside, keeps the mind sharp and mood elevated. It is as much about fresh air as it is about maintaining mental clarity. The saying goes, there's no bad weather, only bad clothing. So bundle up, get outside, and breathe in the crisp winter air. So, as the winter settles in, maybe try embracing some of these German habits to make the cold months a little cozier. Light up a candle, make some tea, maybe even hit the sauna. And remember, winter wellness is all about balance and finding joy in the simple things.
Plus 49 interview.
Today we have two amazing women, power women, I'm going to say. One of them is also Latina, which I'm always very happy to have here with us. And the other one is a German Kartoffel in the best sin ever. And both of them, they're not only funny, but they also have this amazing portal called Simple Germany. Today with us, Jen and Yvonne.
Thank you so much for having us.
Yes, I don't know. We're supposed to root. Woo! Yes, thank you very much for having us.
Love the intro.
The Deutsche Kartoffel?
Yeah, it's not often that I get called that, but I take it.
But I tell her she's a Deutsche Kartoffel with Sazon, which is like Spanish for with spices.
Or actually, I've been called a sweet potato.
Also, yeah.
That is the sweetest. Okay, so let's keep with the kartoffel part with sazon and sweet potato also. We're definitely doing something with it. But for the part of the interview, we want to know, what is Simple Germany?
So Simple Germany started in 2020. Yvonne and I started Simple Germany with the goal to empower internationals that recently moved to Germany or plan to move to Germany to settle into life in Germany more smoothly, is our slogan. And the purpose is to pretty much talk about all the unspoken rules in Germany. When you come as a newcomer, there's a lot of things that are new, of course, because it's a new country, but culturally speaking, how things are done, especially if you come from parts of the world where things work in a completely different way. So Simple Germany started as to guide the newcomers, and more than guide, empower, to give all the information possible so they can make the right decisions, know their rights, find the right service providers, and feel empowered to navigate the jungle of the first stages.
I wouldn't even give it like a certain time frame because everyone has different speeds in life.
Yeah.
That is also very important. Like, everybody has very different speed times, and sometimes you just want to arrive and know it all. And then you see actually that Deutsche Bürokratie, or German bureaucracy, is in German.
Yeah. What a surprise.
Indeed, what a surprise. But I guess you have encountered the situation where a lot of people do not know how to start in Germany because they do not understand German and they have no idea what comes first. To be honest, I don't think anybody of us knows what starts first, because either you have the Anmeldung or you have the bank or you have the apartment, or you don't know where to start. So let's keep it simple, like Simple Germany. What would be the first things you would say that you can start with?
So let's just focus on the ideal world because, like you just said, there will always be deviances depending on your situation. But in the ideal world, I would say you know why you're coming, you have a reason. In our case, a job is probably the most likely, but there's a reason why you're coming. And then you land in Germany, you have already some place to live, most likely a short term rental that is furnished, that comes with internet, that comes with electricity, where you don't have to worry so you don't get overwhelmed, where you can do your Anmeldung with, so you get your ducks in order. Because of the Anmeldung, you get all the other paperwork that you need, for example, your tax ID. You start your work, you find a grind, you get to know your neighborhood, you get to know public transportation, all those little things, the groceries, the recycling, all the things that are happening. And once you overcome those first steps, then you can find your long-term apartment and actually look ahead, take a breath and say, wow, now what does this new world offer to me?
Regarding New World, what are the things that you have encountered during this 4 years with Simple Germany that people somehow always do mistakes, like typical mistakes everybody does?
So I wouldn't call it a mistake for sure, but maybe like a learning curve that everyone goes through, and that is the language. So, for example, my first years in Germany, I was lucky that I had the support of my company to help me, not the company that I was working for, to help me with a lot of the bureaucratic processes. So I didn't really have to deal a lot with German bureaucracy. But once that support was gone, I was left in the open, so to speak, and everything was in German. And I surrounded myself alone with international friends and colleagues. So I neglected learning the language for a very long time, which later, because my goal was to stay in Germany long term, later I kind of like air quotes paid the price because all these years had passed by and I was in a situation where all my international friends left. I needed to make new friends, but I didn't speak the language. I didn't really put much effort. And also, I was kind of waiting for my German to be perfect because I was taking some classes and I was never really taking the opportunity to practice it. So and then that chip kind of changed. Also, Yvonne had a big impact on that because her family only speaks German, especially like her granny and father. So there I was like, okay, now I really need to make an effort. And I, even if it wasn't perfect, started speaking more. And then I realized, wow, okay, now that I speak and understand German more, I understand the country so much more. I understand a little bit more the German sense of humor. I can understand the tone of, is that serious or a joke? I can not understand 100% because I will never have all the context because I never grew up in Germany. But I felt like something unlocked that I'm like, okay, if I would have done this earlier, maybe this unlockedness would have come at a sooner stage.
I think what you just said is super important. And one of the key things here is just learn the language and just start talking, even though if it's not the right way to say things, because sometimes we want to be so perfect that we forget that it's just about speaking. In this episode of Plus 49, we're talking with our friends Jen and Yvonne about life in Germany and what has brought us here on our paths and a little bit of everything. But before we let them go, we're going to play here a little game.
Okay.
So I'm going to say to each one of you one word, and you can try to explain to me what that actually is referred to. Meaning, it's, for instance, a very typical thing, and I'm going to go first with Yvonne. Recycling.
That is her passion project.
You were chosen. You were chosen.
Recycling. Explain what the word means or what I understand from it.
What you as a German understand under it. Because me as a Mexican, understanding this is just basically eating last day's food and reheating it and eating it today. That's for us sort of recycling.
Okay, got it. Recycling to me as a German means having 3 to 5 different trash cans and paying attention to where you throw what.
What happens if someone doesn't do it?
Ultimately, nothing directly. What can happen is that a German will yell at you when they catch you. The ultimate worst thing that can happen is that you actually get a fine, although I would say that needs to be next level. The worst thing that could happen to you per se in your life is that the trash doesn't get picked up and you have a full trash can and your neighbors will be upset. And then where do you put your trash? Because that is an inconvenience in life, I would say.
It is definitely an inconvenience in life. And now let's go with you, Jen. Tell us what Pünktlichkeit means, or being on time.
From a German perspective or a Guatemalan perspective?
From the perspective that you had to learn, how was the process of going from Guatemalan to German?
So I can speak because I think, like me, there's a few Guatemalans, not the majority, but I have always been a person that arrives on time. And I actually in Guatemala had problems with friends when they wouldn't arrive on time, and I would just leave the place because it would be like 30 minutes late. And I'm like, this is not cool. So actually coming to Germany, it's the opposite maybe of what you were expecting, but I was so happy and really honored, I must say, to make an appointment with someone, be at a place at a specific time, and they would be there. And I'd be like, really? This is like my dream world. Thank you very much. And this happened also not only with Germans, but also I experienced it with not all, but some internationals that had been living for some time. Italians are still a big exception in that, of course, but but generally speaking, everyone was in time, and for me, it was a big relief because I don't like this cinco minutitos. I'll be there, and then the 5 minutes have come and gone, and no one is there.
German by heart.
German by heart, definitely. Okay, last part, because it's gonna be a change next year regarding this TV and radio taxes.
There's going to be a change next year regarding the get tip. Are they what are they increasing the price again, or are they changing?
They're thinking about increasing the price.
Yeah, that's no news.
That's normal. Yeah, okay.
Okay, but for some, yes, yeah, okay. For someone who has absolutely no idea, why am I? Let's put it that way. Like, I don't believe that there are a lot of people right now actually listening. I'm gonna be bad about this. Listening to the radio or watching CDF. It is a topic because we have to pay for it, and it's not cheap.
Yes. So I think that is a lot of controversy around it, because there is people who say, if I cannot choose if I want to pay it, then it's a tax, and then it's imposed, which, I mean, yes, it is imposed, but it's not a tax. And that is just a definition of a word, right? What is tax and what's not. Why do we pay this? That's a very good question. And when we went down the rabbit hole to understand it a bit better, to explain it also to our audience, what we've come to realize is that this is the way that the public broadcast, ARD, ZDF, WDR, and so many other services get financed. And it is supposed to provide a platform or a system where they provide unbiased news, but also, and this is because people then complain that it's not unbiased, where I'm gonna take a part in it. But more importantly, it finances cultural programs in niche areas where, if it wouldn't exist, those niche areas of culture would get neglected and would find no way to be preserved in our, let's say, capitalist, whatever kind of world. And when looking at it from that angle, when Germany is such a culture-rich country, not just in terms of radio and TV, but also, of course, it expands into internet nowadays, but also in terms of theater and opera and plays, there is such a big, I would say even niche market for it, but that adds so much to culture. And the question is, would society at large suffer if those would no longer be financed? That is the question I think we need to ask ourselves. And everyone would have a different answer, because not everyone is interested in that part of culture. But I think it's a bigger picture really of what would society look like if those free, artistic, free-minded, different thinking people would no longer have a place.
I think that the conversation can be going and going about not only this tax, but every other tax. I mean, it's not a tax, it's a Beitrag, but still, I think there are a lot of stories we can tell, and I have a lot of questions to ask you. This is our last segment with Jen and Yvonne from Simple Germany. And for everybody outside who has no idea what Simple Germany is, but has heard these two beautiful women talking about what they are doing, just go to the website.
That will be simplegermany.com.
And what are we going to be finding there?
On the website per se, let's call it our hub. You will find all the information that anyone that is about to or recently moved, maybe even is already a few years in Germany, has questions about life, all kinds of topics. And the website per se is a little bit more how-to and really nitty-gritty. And it's the hub because it also guides you to our other presences, let's say, where we are able to talk a little bit more fluid and give a little bit more personality and personal insights, which we do on YouTube and on Instagram with, a bit more also our own life stories and challenges and losses and wins.
And with this, you have your own YouTube and your Instagram where you talk about all of these topics. What has been one of the key segments or videos that you love?
There's multiple. And I would say the beauty of being able to create Simple Germany is the diversity of topics, because we can literally go from something that is super unsexy and boring from the outside perspective, like talking about taxes or electricity. And I get super excited for whatever weird reason, but I have realized I get super excited to break down complex topics into simple terms. But then there are those videos that go deeper, especially on the part of Jen, because Jen is sometimes extremely vulnerable and open of sharing her path. And I'm just so extremely proud of that, because that is the inspiration that so many of our listeners seek and follow to build their dream lives.
Jen and Yvonne have shared just a little talk with us today, but we really hope that they will stay with us and they will come back to our show and explore with us not only more about their paths, but also the paths of those who are just arriving to Berlin or Germany and try to understand why are we here and how can we make this our home. And we want to thank you, both of you, so much for being here. And of course, invite everybody to go to their socials and watch their insightful videos and Instagrammers. They're really not only hilarious, but they're really, really inspireful. Thank you so much for being here with us today.
Thank you so much for having us.
And for this very, very warm welcome.
Yes, it's been a pleasure.
Plus 49. Ask a German.
My name is Jen, and I'm from Guatemala. And I've been living in Germany for 12 years. And I have noticed that whenever I am walking publicly or I'm in public places, I turn around and I see a German looking at me and staring. And I'm not sure if they want to ask me something, say something. They're just looking at my cool jacket. So my question to you, Yvonne, as a German, is why do Germans stare at me?
You pretty much answered your own question right now. Maybe they're looking at your cool jacket. Maybe, and I would say in my case, that's because I also catch myself staring sometimes, even though I have the awareness that that's maybe a little bit awkward for the other person, out of curiosity, literally out of curiosity, like, who are you? What brought you here? If you, depending on how you look like you said, a piece of clothing or something that you carry, I'm intrigued. I like to observe. That's just what Germans like to do. We like to observe.
Should I be scared?
No, on the contrary. If you smile, they might be like, ooh, shit. However, if you don't smile and you frown, they'll be like,
I frowned, and that's the answer that I've gotten, actually.
And if you really want to surprise them, you'd be like, can I help you?
Or wave.
Exactly, or wave. That's fantastic, because then you'd be like, the German will be super confused and probably super shy and not meet your gaze again. Or wave back, and that might be the start of a beautiful conversation, if you both have the guts to go there.
Okay, so maybe I will smile and talk next time.
This is the end of today's show. We hope you enjoy it with a cup of tea or maybe a Glühwein. Even though winter is tough for those who come from other sunny places, this is a good time to embrace the Gemütlichkeit and maybe slow down a little bit. Remember to take a look at your vitamin D levels and please ask for help if you are feeling down. Thank you all for listening. Thank you, Marlene and Egon, for your help with this program. My name is Sigrid Arteaga, and we hope to be part of your evening next week. Muchas gracias y hasta la próxima.